Welcome to the Lake Area Business Beat, the official podcast of the Lake Area Regional Business Chamber of Commerce. Today, I'm your host, Carrie Griffin, bringing you the latest buzz from the heart of our region where innovation meets opportunity and community drives success. Each episode will spotlight local leaders, rising entrepreneurs, and game-changing initiatives that are shaping the economic future of the Lake Area. Whether you're a seasoned business owner, a startup dreamer, or just love keeping up with what's happening in your backyard, this podcast is for you. Let's dive in, connect, and grow together. Welcome to the Business Beat, the official podcast of the Lake Area Regional Business Chamber of Commerce, where we shine a spotlight on local businesses and entrepreneurs making a real impact right here in Lake Charles. Today, I'm sitting down with someone who has created more than just a business. She's created a space where creativity, connection, and self-expression can flourish. I'm talking about Katie Rosa, the owner of Grounded in Nature. While many know Grounded in Nature for its beautiful plants and greenery, Katie's vision extends far beyond that. Through hands-on crafts, workshops, and creative experiences, she has built a welcoming environment where adults can step away from the stress of everyday life, explore their creativity, and connect with others in meaningful ways. In a world that often moves too fast, Katie has intentionally created a space where people can slow down, create something with their hands, and leave feeling inspired. If you ever need a creative outlet, a moment of peace, or simply a place where you could be yourself, then you'll understand why Grounded in Nature has become such a special part of our community. Let's tap into her story. Welcome, Katie. I'm so excited to have you here, and I see you brought all of your plants, girl. So just tell me a little bit about yourself and what inspired you to start Grounded in Nature.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited about this, but I wanted to create the space that I've always needed. I've always had really high stress jobs, and some days are just hard and you want to put the blankets over your head. So I wanted to create the space where I could just go and vibe out for a minute and be able to restart my day and recharge myself whenever things get a little hard. So the goal was to be able to create a space where people can kind of go and, charge themselves up.
So many people assume you're simply just like a plant store. How would you describe Grounded in Nature to someone who might be visiting you for the first time?
I tell people we're a crafty plant shop. So what we do is we have crafts and activities that are related to nature, because the goal is to get people working with their hands again, putting the screens down. But we do offer some indoor plants, some succulents, and we let local artists sell their art within our shop. So it's a very interesting, fantastical feel. And it's the type of place that you just want to stroll through, even if you don't spend any money there.
It sounds like a whimsical place to be. I'm about once a year right now, so I need to stop by there. Now, what inspired you to create a space focused on creativity and self-expression for adults?
I feel like there's a lot of places for kids in town, and so there's just not a lot of options for adults to be able to get into crafts and to be able to have a girls' night where we're all just learning and playing. I also love the idea of us being able to teach one another what our grandparents taught us. My mom taught me how to sew, my mom taught me how to can, and I feel like everybody's learned some little traits from their grandma. And I'm just really hoping to create this space where we can all learn from each other and get back to the original crafts and hobbies that our grandparents and great-grandparents were doing.
Really good notes. I have some, but you said something that kind of piqued my interest. You said girls' night. Do you host a girls' night events there?
Oh yeah.
Is it fun?
You can break my I think it's fun, girl. And we've had those brunches there. We've had open nights. We've had craft parties. Sometimes we bring in artists to come and show us their craft and their trade. So there are no rules within our space. So we are open and available to let you create any way you want. If somebody comes to us and they say that they have a group of girls that are trying to get together and have an event, I kind of ask them what their vibe is. Are y'all up for painting, or do y'all want to play with some oyster shells? Y'all trying to mess with clay? Like, where are we at? And so we will curate a special event for you and your crowd to do a kind of an out of pocket sort of craft that everybody gets to go home and be proud of,
I love that. Now you gotta speak my language, girl. So what are some of the most popular classes and crafts or workshops that you offer?
Well, currently we have been switching really heavy to growing our plants because this is our first grow season.
Mm-hmm.
But some of the things that you can do in our shop that are pretty much available every day, you can crack a geode open. We do flower pressing. And so we actually build like open air terrariums as well. So sometimes we have a lot of guests have been coming in this summer and painting at a terracotta pot, and then we add plants into it. So we have a whole package deal of painting the pot, sealing the pot, and then you leave with it all planted and your favorite little plants inside. So we make it very kid craft show, but for adults. So
Okay.
I think the adults go around and pick their 3 favorite plants and we plant them together. It's very, let's work with our hands and let's make something that we're proud of.
Okay, this is like right up my alley. I feel like the older I get, I'm becoming like a plant lady, but I love being craftsy too.
Yeah.
So the painting, into Legos and puzzles and stuff now. So that is like definitely right up my alley.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. We're going to pull you in slowly but surely.
Have you witnessed any, I don't know, transformations or memorable moments from people attending your events?
1,000%.
Okay.
Every time you have an event, there's always 1 or 2 in the room who says, I'm not an artist. I'm not good at this. Blah, 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 blah. And then that is always the person who leaves the most proud because yes, it's like, I believe that being able to love your art is a way of loving yourself. So for you to put a paint swoosh on a canvas, whenever you say, oh, it's ugly and I hate it, it's stupid, you're really putting yourself down because that's like your personal creation.
Yeah.
So seeing somebody who walks in going, oh no, I don't like to paint, I'm not really comfortable. And then they leave going, I made this, look how cool this is. And then they're sending pictures to their friends, they're posting it on social media. Like, girl, you're just loving on yourself the way that you meant to be.
Why do you think adults need creative spaces now more than ever?
Look, for a long time, my history was in youth ministry. So I would go around the community and I had an amazing group of girls and we would do community service projects. And what would happen is that I would get them feeling so good and so full of love. And then they'd go home to parents who are miserable.
Yeah.
And it dawned on me that at some point we got to love the mamas. We got to love the adults. That way that kid can come home from school. And so if I can take the yuck away from mom and she can go home and be mom and cook dinner and be the wife and be the sister, be the girlfriend, whatever it may be, we're willing to take the yuck so they can continue on and have a good night together. So that's that's like the whole vision as far as I'm concerned is being able to love on the parents. That way they can be better for their children.
That's such a profound take because I feel like if the parents are healthy, then they can create healthy environments emotionally for their kids. And it's like a trickle down effect. I really believe in that.
Kids are never the problem. They're the symptom.
You are, I never heard it stated like that. It's so true.
Whenever kids are violent and aggressive and all the things, look at what's happening in the household. That's what needs an outlet. Mama needs an outlet. She needs to go scream somewhere, have a glass of wine with her girlfriends, paint on a sticking canvas, and punch it bellow and over. Yeah. And then go home and cook dinner. It'd be great.
Yes, I absolutely agree with that. I love that you've identified that and created a space to where people can come and just dump all that there and leave it there and then go back home more healthy than what they can.
We're willing to take the physical mess. I'm going to take your paintbrushes and your paint cup and your canvas or the emotional mess. If you need to come and scream or call your best friend and cuss about something, all that's a safe place with us. We will take the emotional or the physical yuck away. And then that way you can start over and have a better day. Finish your night on a good note,
Yeah, we can't prevent things from happening to us in our lives. We definitely need outlets to be able to grieve and process those emotions. And if you keep them pent up, then it does come out in other more negative ways.
For sure.
That's so important. Well, let me ask you, as a business owner, what has been your biggest challenge and your biggest reward? Sometimes it's the same.
Gosh, the biggest challenge is to get here, So for a long time, this was a pipe dream. And the more I would explain it to people, they're like, what? 20 minutes and class and So that to be the point that I was like, look, you're just going to have to watch.
Yeah.
Whenever this place opens, you're just going to have to show up. So I feel like today, one of the biggest struggles that we have is people are like, can you give me exact details? And I'm like, what? It doesn't quite fit in a box. We're kind of like a vibe kind of place. So I really just need you to arrive and let's figure out how this place works for you. So that's probably the biggest hurdle. The biggest reward is definitely whenever our first time comes on property. I mean, I have a 42-foot mural that, you can't miss us. Once you see us once, you're never not going to see us again. So whenever I get people to come on the property the very first time and they catch the vibe immediately, that feeling is so good because they're like, okay, yes, I'm here, girl, and I'm going to call you with me and the girls. I'm already texting some friends. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. I know that I'm connecting and resonating with other people who've also had the direct need of like, man, sometimes life sucks and I need to go swing on a swing, go color in a coloring book, something.
How do you feel like the Lake Charles community has supported your journey?
Well, that's an interesting take. I think that at first there's been a lot of resistance because I feel like I've owned this property. I renovated this property to make it what it was. So I think that there was a long time of people just kind of staring, going, "What is she doing? That's crazy."
Okay.
And then upon opening the doors, whenever people have given us a try, I feel like we've gotten just rewarded with so much optimism. And I mean, we get amazing messages, and the supporters, friends and family, and people from like my childhood have shown up to this space. So that's just so special to me that people are crawling out the woodwork that I haven't seen in decades. Yeah, just like, "Oh my gosh, I see what you're doing. Let me get over there and be a support." So the Lake Charles community shows up and shows out for me. And I'm just really thankful for the people who give us a shot and are willing to check us out, you know?
It's kind of like you almost went through you're crazy until you're not
Yeah.
type of flow, I guess. Like it's kind of like people looking at you like, that's not gonna work, or we don't know what that is. And then they start to see you be successful and they start to hear about you and they're like, oh, okay, now they're interested or they're intrigued. And so they want to try you out. And now it's like, oh, I should have came here a long time ago. So I love when that happens.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like,
exactly.
you weren't crazy, you were just early.
Right. I'm just trendsetter, and I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that. And I love that. Being a trendsetter. That's a great word. What advice would you give someone who has a creative passion but is afraid to pursue it?
Go for it.
Okay.
Put your head down and just charge forward. Forget all the other stuff. Because I feel like sometimes we get so stuck in looking at what other people are posting or what their creative energy is looking like or what their business is. And none of that is helpful for you because your creative energy is literally the reflection of your soul. So being able to just be open, like I said, you're loving your art is a part of loving you. So I think that is a part of you trying to express your authentic self. So embrace it, put your head down and ignore everybody else and go for it because your art will absolutely resonate with somebody. And I believe that wholeheartedly. You know?
I absolutely agree. I feel like comparison is a thief of joy. And a lot of times when people compare themselves to others, you could literally be comparing yourself to someone while they're in their chapter 10 and you just opened your book. Like, you're in chapter 1. So your life's not looking the same because they've been at it. And while they may look like an overnight sensation or that they just popped up overnight, you don't know the years of the grind and the hustle that they've had to endure to get to that point in their life.
Yeah.
So, comparison really is a thief of joy. I hate it. But what's next for Grounded in Nature and how can people get involved?
Ooh. What's next is I want us to take a much deeper dive into the community and be a part of local events. That's always been a part of my heart and who I am and what I represent. So I feel like in the next years going forward, I hope to be just an asset to the community. I hope that people look at us as a place where they'll pop in to figure out what's happening in the community. When there are events happening in the community, they know that Grounded Nature is going to show up some kind of way. And so for me, I want to be an asset to the community that's always supported and loved me. And so as much as obviously we're a for-profit business, but my heart has always been in nonprofit. So if there's any way that I can support a nonprofit or help somebody get their mission forward, like we are your human, we will help you in any way we can.
I have some ideas for you offline.
We're into it.
All right. So we want to try a new thing. It's called a rapid fire round. Ask you some questions really fast. And I just want to do the first thing that comes to mind. I want you to give it to me. Okay.
Okay.
Favorite planet.
Gosh. Not in front of all the planets. You're way too complicated than Stargazer or Lily.
Mars.
Yes.
Favorite craft project.
All.
Okay. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Morning or night?
Morning.
One word that describes Grounded in Nature.
Fantastical.
One word that describes your entrepreneurial journey.
The struggle.
That was cute. I had fun doing that with you. All right. So, Katie, thank you for joining us on the Business Beat. Your work reminds us that business isn't always about what you sell. Sometimes it's about the experiences, connections, and opportunities you create for others. We appreciate all you are doing to help our community grow, create, and stay grounded.
Thank you so much for having me.
Be creative. Inspire others.